What's going on YouTube? This is Dre the Plug coming at you live with some more technical heat. In this video specifically, we're going to highlight a systems engineer for NASA. She goes by Joanne. Most may know her on Instagram as your female engineer. And she's basically going to give her whole perspective on her route of being in engineering. Let's get into it. Let's get into some of this technical heat.
Hello everyone, my name is Joan Melendez-Meisner and I am an integration engineer at NASA and a part-time science communicator. I went to the University of Maryland and got a dual bachelor's degree in chemical engineering and chemistry, and I also have a master's degree in systems engineering from Naval Postgraduate School. Currently right now as an integration engineer at NASA, I work on the requirements for all launches that are uncrewed, so your science missions and your launches that don't have crew in them. Currently, right now, I am working on the Sentinel-6, which is supposed to launch on November 10th of this year.
Okay, Joanne, so why did you decide to choose this specific major, this specific field?
It's actually a funny story. I didn't really think about going into STEM or STEAM until after I was in college. First, I went into college thinking that I wanted to be an emergency room doctor because I love to help people. And growing up, I just, saw all the ER shows on TV and I just really wanted to be one of those. However, when I got into college, I started taking all the chemistry and biology and the anatomy and physiology as the prerequisites for med school. Then I volunteered at a Florida hospital and I immediately regretted my decision because I saw a whole bunch of blood, a whole bunch of needles, and I almost passed out. So from there on, I had to kind of course correct from what I wanted to be from growing up into what I can be. So I had a really good guidance counselor who steered me in the right direction. I let her know, these are the classes that I've taken, what my interest is. And that's when she brought up chemistry and chemical engineering, since I had a lot of the biology and chemistry already kind of been taken already. And that's how she steered me into STEM. I didn't really think about being someone in engineering when I was growing up, but after I took a lot of the classes in engineering, I just fell in love with it. Then I also interned at an engineering company, Naval Air Systems Command, which is a DoD agency that works for the Navy, specifically for the aviation side, and I absolutely fell in love. I was working on qualification of biofuels. I was working on F-18s, which are the fighter jets for the Navy. I was working on the engines. I was working on everything, and I absolutely loved it. And I love problem solving, so it was just the best career and choice for me at the time.
Okay, so what do you feel is the biggest benefit when it comes down to joining this specific field?
The biggest benefit right now for getting a degree in STEM or STEAM is the job market. I was able to get any job that I wanted that I applied for, even if it was an oil field, an oil company, aviation, or the tech industry. I was able to get all job offers offered to me because they're looking for young engineers to problem solve and they're looking for the future for their company. So right now the job market for any field, whether you're in chemical engineering, aviation, mechanical, electrical, or whatever, they're currently looking for a lot of engineers.
Okay, so what's something that you did not expect jumping into this field?
One of the biggest things that I never expected jumping into this field was how easy it was to go from aviation to the space sector. At first, I thought that when I was wanting to get jobs at NASA, I thought that you had to have a 4.0 GPA and become a genius to work for NASA because essentially you're doing rocket science. However, it's not that way. And that's what I really want to do with my platform and show people is that it's an attainable position that you can get. And so when I moved from the aviation field to the space sector, all I really had to do was kind of network to get work. I started to talk to a lot of NASA engineers. They gave me advice on how to tweak my resume for specific jobs at NASA. And all I did was apply. The biggest hurdle that I had was it's kind of hard to get jobs specifically at NASA because there's so few of them. However, you just have to keep on going. I think I applied 13 times at NASA before I even got an interview, and then eventually I got the job. So one of the biggest things that I want to tell people is just to keep on going and never stop, because I wanted to work for NASA and my dream started last year. After I went to a NASA social and talked to NASA engineers and I saw the Demo 1 Falcon 9 go into space, I told myself I really want to move now to the space sector after working in the aviation sector for about 8 years. And it took me less than a year to get a job at Blue Origin, which is the space company owned by Jeff Bezos, and then in turn, get a job at NASA.
So what made you want to showcase your talent on Instagram? I see a lot of amazing engineering talent all over your page. There's so many crazy things. You can really just get lost going through your page. What made you just want to take that route and actually showcase to people the other routes of engineering?
Yeah, my Instagram at Your Female Engineer is full of all this engineering and science content. It actually started off with just kind of travel photography because I was really into photography when I was in college. So it's just whenever I would travel around the country, around the globe, I would take pictures and post it on Instagram. It didn't really go into the science and the STEM field until after I started working full time. I wanted to showcase women in STEM, women in aviation, doing really great things. So I showcased myself working on engines, working on fighter jets, and kind of opening it up for anybody who wanted to ask me questions, whether if that's a dream of theirs, how did I get there? I really wanted to be open and I wanted to essentially humanize STEM professionals. I know when I was growing up in Orlando, again, I thought that NASA engineers were 4.0 geniuses, and there's no way that I would be able to go there because I didn't graduate college with a 4.0. And now that I work at NASA, I want to reach out to others and say, you don't have to be a 4.0 student to apply to NASA and get a job there. Of course, we have people who are geniuses. There's always geniuses in any career that you go for. But I really want to showcase saying, hey, it's okay if you failed a few classes in college. I myself failed organic chemistry, and I was as a chemistry and chemical engineering major. So it's okay to fail and keep going because you'll eventually get to where you want to go if you don't stop. So that's what my Instagram at Your Female Engineer is about. It's showcasing all of the work that I do, and at the same time being really open to anybody who wants to send me a message. I get people asking for advice on career, on resume, on how they can get to where I'm at. I'm always open and available and very easygoing to talk to if you want to reach out to me at Your Female Engineer.
So you also mentioned that you do projects on the side. What actually got you into being a science communicator?
What really got me into science communication is wanting to get involved with my community. As a woman in STEM, specifically a Latinx woman in STEM, I wanted to spread all of the knowledge that I currently have and everything that I have been through up until now. Two of the major projects that I'm involved with is Passage and Letters to a Pre-Scientist. Letters to a Pre-Scientist is a way, it's kind of like a pen pal program, so you are put together with an elementary or high school student, and you essentially write letters to each other. Normally, you are paired with someone who is interested in something that you're currently working at. So currently right now, I have a student from Ohio who's interested in space, sports, and movies, which are three of my favorite things. So it's going to be interesting to see what those letters are going to go back and forth. And essentially that program, again, is a way to humanize STEM professionals. So this kid in Ohio really wants to be a NASA engineer. So it's going to be a good way to, again, humanize the STEM profession and saying, hey, I'm a NASA engineer, but I also love to watch sports. I also love to watch Netflix. I'm just a regular person. So that's a really cool program. The other program is Passage, which is something that I'm really excited about. As a Latin Hispanic woman in STEM, I'm going to be able to work with a whole bunch of science communicators all over the world. And currently right now, we're trying to raise $50,000 to put together these science kits to send to schools in the Caribbean and Latin America. So we have schools from Haiti, Puerto Rico, Colombia, Mexico, and we're trying to add more schools. So essentially we want to spread the STEM communication out to those who are underprivileged or who don't have the technology or the tools to get into a STEM degree, even though they may be interested in being an astronaut or an engineer or an artist for NASA. That's what our project is about, is we're trying to spread that joy to everybody so that everybody can have access to STEM knowledge and STEM communication. And hopefully if it goes well, we're hopefully going to be able to do that all over the world, whether it's in the United States and other parts of the world. So essentially we want to, again, spread that STEM communication all over the place and make sure that little kids who want to grow up and be astronauts or a STEM major or an artist, in the STEAM field can do it without having to be held back based on where they currently are at.
What advice will you give to other women who are considering going into STEM or STEAM career?
The number one advice I would give future women who want to pursue careers in STEM or STEAM is to don't give up. I know that the career field right now is very male dominated, but in order to change those statistics, we have to have more women involved in STEM and STEAM early on in their high school or middle school careers. Being involved in your clubs, if you like science, technology, math, engineering, be involved with your high school clubs, be involved with your middle school clubs, reach out to women in STEM. There's so many amazing women who are on Instagram and on social media who are open to answering any questions that you want. I think in order for us to change the statistics, we have to be more involved in our community. And that's what I love to do. I love to be going to schools as a panelist or as a webinar now that we're in the COVID era, talking about my career, talking about how it is to be a woman in STEM, specifically a Latinx woman in STEM, which I believe we're about 2.9% of the entire STEM community. So in order to get those numbers up, we need to make sure that we're more accessible to everybody in our community and getting people more involved when they were at a young age. So don't give up. Don't let the male-dominated field intimidate you. Just keep on going. If that's what you want to do, then go for it. Go for your dreams.
Okay, so what's one piece of advice that you can give to a viewer that's watching right now, maybe considering going into engineering? What's some advice that you would like to give to that person?
The one piece of advice that I would give to a future student who wants to get into STEM is it is okay to fail. Failure is just a stepping stone to success. I failed several classes in college, and I'm still here as a NASA engineer. In social media, you normally see a lot of people's successes or the tip of the iceberg, but you don't see everything underneath the iceberg, which is the hard work, sometimes the failure, the amount of hours that you had to put in because you didn't understand a subject. It's okay. If you don't understand the subject, it is okay. You can just keep on working and keep on doing what you need to do to pass the class. And at the end of the day, it's okay to fail. So just remember that failure is just a stepping stone to success.
So do you have a hobby or anything that's like not STEM related that you also do on the side?
Yes, I actually am a huge band nerd. I was in band throughout middle school, high school, and college. So I play the clarinet, the saxophone, and the piano. I try to play the guitar, but I'm really bad at it. I went to the school of YouTube and it's not really working. But those are the three major instruments that I love to play. Sometimes when I'm stressed out, I love to just go on the piano, learn a new song, and just kind of put headphones on and just, turn off the world. It's a great stress reliever.
And that concludes this video. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. It really do help my channel when it comes down to the YouTube algorithm. If you guys have any questions regarding anything, just hit me up on Instagram, hit me up on the gram at DreThePlug123. And then also go check out my other YouTube channel. This is actually my second channel. My first one was called Andre ClassicCuts. I basically go in and give tutorials about all types of different haircuts. I actually show people how to do different type of things with the clippers that has never been done. And I pretty much go into detail as to why certain things happen. So definitely go check out that channel. Besides that, be on the lookout for my next content that's dropping. Be on the lookout for it because it's coming real soon. And I'm out.